YouTube, it's your boy Sean Matrai. We got Diamond 1, and no, it wasn't on stream, because we have a lot of content planned, including a tournament, which I'm going to invite all of you to join. It's going to be pinned in the description below, so if you want to get in this tournament, you are going to want to make sure you follow me on Twitch, and you're going to want to click that link, alright, that I'm going to post below. Anyway, this is Swordsoul Tenyi, alright, and we hit Diamond 1 with it. Alright, now, my brother Steven, Freshie, he's another YouTuber and Twitch streamer, he taught me the deck, and then I learned, and I kind of played it off stream, and hit a bit streak, and really took it into my own to master the deck. So, I'm going to tell you what the deck is about, and there are two engines, and I'm going to have a combo guide coming up soon. Alright, there are two engines you need to know about here. There are the Swordsoul, and then there are the Tenyi. Alright, so we're going to go over the deck, and I'm going to teach you both. First are the Swordsoul. So, if you've all watched my virtual Swordsoul video, link will be there, I go over what exactly the Swordsoul do. But I'm going to go over it again, because we're discussing a bit of a different deck here. So you have Mo Yi, Taya, and Long Yun. So Mo Yi, if this card is normal special summon, you reveal one Swordsoul in your hand to play a tuner token. So all your Swordsoul monsters are non-tuners, but by revealing worm monsters or discarding or banishing worm monsters, you get a token that becomes a tuner. Alright, with a 0 attack and defense. And with that tuner, you get to synchro summon. Okay? So you have, now, alongside that, they do have a restriction, and that is, while you control a token, you can't summon except for synchro summoning. But that's okay. Most of the time, you're either clearing that token, and, you know, you're going to make plays off of clearing that token. What other plays once you clear the token anyway. So, that is pretty much what you need to know on that front. However, we're going to go over pretty much what each Swordsoul does. How they're unique. Okay, Mo Yi reveals the Swordsoul card or a monster in your hand and summons a Swordsoul token. That is a worm tuner that has 0 attack. So this one reveals a worm in hand. Taya banishes one from the graveyard to summon a token, and Long Yun discards a worm or a Swordsoul card to summon a token. Okay? Now, upon that, they each have a different second effect. Taya sends a worm monster from your deck to your grave. That could be any of your Tenyis. Any of them. Or your Swordsoul cards. Mo Yi allows you to draw a card. And these can help chain block your synchros. We'll go over the synchros once we get to them. And Long Yun does 1200 burn damage. So, there's that. Alright? Now, alongside that, we have Swordsoul Emergence, which allows us to search a Swordsoul. And if we control a Swordsoul Synchro, we can add a worm monster instead. Actually, any Synchro monster. Doesn't have to be a Swordsoul. We can add a worm instead. And to complement and to end out our engine, we have Blackout. Now, some people run this at 2, some people run this at 1. I like it at 1 because I feel it can get a little bit bricky if we draw multiple copies. Blackout allows us to target a worm, destroy it, and pop 2 cards on our opponent's field. Now, if you know about Icarus attack from when Black Wings were meta back in 2009, you're pretty much familiar with what this card can do. Also, secondary effect, if this card is banished by the effect, if this card is banished, special summon a Swordsoul token. So this could be a good way to dodge Imperm with Taya. So if you think they have an Imperm or a Droplet, and they try to negate your Taya, you banish your Blackout, and then you get a token anyway when you play through that Imperm, whatever. Alright? Now, on top of this, we have Tenyis. Now, this is another engine. We'll go over the Swordsoul Synchros in a bit, but I want to go over the Tenyi engine. So, we have Adhara, Vishuddha, and Ashuna. Okay? Now, Tenyis, a lot of them revolve around normal monsters. That's what the whole archetype revolves around. So, Ashuna has the effect that if you control no effect monsters, all of them do, I should say, you can special summon the card from the hand. So that being Ashuna, Vishuda, or Adhar. However, if you control and face up non-effect monster, each of them get a different effect. And you can banish them either from your graveyard or from your hand to achieve that effect. So Ashuna can special summon a Tenyi from the deck. However, after you do so, you cannot special summon monsters for the rest of the turn except worm monsters, which is okay, and I'll go over that shortly. Vishuda has the effect, this one does not lock you. If you control a face-up non-effect monster, you can bounce the card back on the field to the hand. So basically, a compulsory activation device. And then Inhara can target one of your banished worm monsters and add it to your hand. Any worm monster. So that could simply be one of your Swordsoul monsters as well, because they're all worm. Ecclesia is not. We're going to go over that in a second. That is Spellcaster. Ecclesia allows you to either summon Albaz or a worm monster. Well, not a worm. A Swordsoul monster. So you can tag out Mo Yi. Generally, what you're going to summon off of this is Mo Yi, unless you've already used Long Yun, and then you're going to summon Taya. But most of the time, it's going to be Mo Yi, because if you tribute this and go to Taya, you're not going to have anything in the grave. But when you summon out Mo Yi, or unless you've already used Tenyi effects. If you use Tenyi effects, then you can go into Taya. So if you use the Tenyi effect, then you will go into Taya sometimes. That way as well. Now, Ecclesia also has another effect that if your opponent controls more monsters than you do, you can special summon it from your hand. So kind of like Cyber Dragon in a way. So really, really good. Okay, so on top of all this, we have 3 Potted Desires. This card's good going second because it allows us to draw into multiple cards and bait out negates. So this card can help win us the game at certain measures. I've been on and off about it, but it did help me out recently, so I like Desires a little bit. It could also help us draw into our Tenyis, which can help us also win the game. On top of that, we have 2 Crossout, 2 Call By. You could choose to run 3, but I chose for a more second deck, so I stuck to 2. Plus, this deck has a lot of gas. What I mean is that you can play through a lot of different disruptions just by using the engines itself. So, in that case, I don't think that 3 crossouts necessary. I think 2 is fine. 3 Impermanence. This card is great. Obviously negating effect. 2 Ghost Ogre. This card is very good at blowing up the adventure engine. It's also good at blowing up Flandre's Mam and a few other necessary cards. Good to blow up Hulk. It can stop Hulk or Aurodon too if you blow up Hulk. And it kind of puts them in a situation where they're forced to go into DPE if they run it or have it. We also run 3 Maxi, 2 Veiler, and 3 Ash. So in total, we run 2, 5, 7, 10, 12, about 15 hand traps here. So we are loaded. 15 hand traps in the deck. So we are loaded. Okay, now onto these Synchro monsters. We have a mix of Yang Zings, Tenyis, extra deck I should say, not Synchros, but Yang Zing, Tenyis, Yang Zings, Tenyis, and Swordsouls. Boxies. So Yazi, if you play Duel Links, you should know what this does. You've probably seen it on a ladder in every Rose deck on the planet. Or in Master Duel, you've probably seen it in every Rose Tenyi deck on the planet. So what Yazi does is, takes a tuner and non-tuner, generic. It can't be targeted by card effects, and you can target itself and an opponent's card, destroy it, and float into a worm monster out of the deck. You can float into Taya. So one of the plays that you can do with Yazi is that you go Yazi, float into Taya, and then Taya, banish Yazi, summon out a token, and then go into Boxia, dump a Mo Yi off Taya, or you can go into Shisha directly. So there's a lot of different play routes you could take there, but could be good to play through Disruption, especially if you know your opponent won't be able to stop it or target it and you want to get rid of a card in the field. Yazi could be clutch. 2 Boxia. Boxia is really good just for a removal option on the field. It takes a generic tuner plus a non-tuner worm. Not generic, but close to it. And then with this, you can target up cards your opponent controls or you control up to the number of different attribute different attribute war monsters used to secret summon from Boxia, and then shuffle them back in the deck. So this is good removal option. If you use this with like a Taya and a token, so the token that comes out is water. All your tokens are water. So what ends up happening here is if you use Taya to make Boxia, you get to shuffle in 2. Moyi is 1 because they're both water. Taya is wind and water, so you get to shuffle 2 cards in, making your Boxia player stronger. And secondary effect is you can target 1 card in the field and 1 more monster in your graveyard, special summon it, 1 monster in your grave, level 4 or lower. I should say not 1 worm, but 1 level 4 or lower monster in your graveyard, special summon it, and then destroy the card you targeted. So really good. It's a monster reborn as well, and a really good extender. Revive back Moyi after you dump Moyi off Taya, and then really continue into a Shishao, possibly a level 10 even after you Shishao. So really, really good. Now, we also run Borderlord Savage. I'm not going to go over this because probably everyone in the game knows what this does. Draco Berserker, the Tenyi, is our Tenyi Synchro. And it takes a tuner or non-tuner. Now notice, most of the Synchro monsters we run are Worm. That's good, because then we're not hurt by the restriction of something like Vishuda. Now, Draco Berserker takes a tuner or non-tuner, and it has an effect that when your opponent activates a monster effect, you can banish it. If this attacking card destroys an effect monster by battle, this card gains attack equal to the destroy monster's original attack, and it can make a second attack on the monster during the battle phase. So if they have 2 monsters on the field, this will gain attack equal to the effect monster, and then a second attack on the monster, leading to possible lethal options. And also Draco Berserker will also, if they activate the effect monster, banish. So it could be good to banish the DP off the field as well, or whatever you want to do. Shishao is our first Swordsoul sync we're talking about. This card is extremely good. It's generic for the worms anyway. It takes a tuner and non-tuner worm. If this card is secret summon, you add a Swordsoul or banish 1 Swordsoul card from your deck. This card can instantly add your Blackout, your Taya, extend into Long Yun, very, very good, or your Emergence to search any worm out of the deck. And also, you can banish 1 Swordsoul card or worm monster from your graveyard, target 1 face-up monster in the field, negate its effects. Really good. And not only that, the banish effect is very relevant when setting up your Adhara follow-ups. So Adhara, as we talked about, if we control non-effect monster, we get to target a worm and add it to our hand. So we can banish Moyi that we used, add that back with Adhara, and then we have a follow-up. So it's really, really strong. Okay, so this card is really good. And we can also chain block it with Moyi, because this is a trigger effect. We activate Shishao's Chain Link 1, Moyi's Chain Link 2 to draw a card, then we get to get our search through, even if they would have Ash Blossom, and then they can't Ghost Ogre, because the monster is not being activated. It's not being chained directly to the monster effect activation. So they can't Ghost Ogre you either. But again, on the topic of Moyi, I don't think I brought this up, but after you Secret Summon, we talked about Taya dumping and the Long Yun Burn. Moyi allows you to draw a card. So you could use it very good, cool applications for chain blocking. You could also do with Taya. Use the mill effect of Taya, Chainlink 1, and then that Chainlink 2, the search. So really good. Xiaofeng is a Yang Zing. It takes a tuner and non-tuner. While this card is synchro summoned on the field, your opponent can activate the effects of monsters with the same attributes, original attributes of the monster used to synchro summon. So if you go into Adhara plus a level 8, that gets this on the field, and you can pretty much turn off lights and earths. You can sometimes manipulate the levels to turn off other things. Also, if Xiaofeng dies, you can add a tuner from your deck to your hand, so that can be really good. And when an opponent's monster, when a monster your opponent controls is destroyed by battle, you can special summon a worm monster from your deck whose original attribute is matches the original attribute as the one destroyed. So, interesting. Barone, we already know what it does. I don't think I need to discuss this. Everybody in the game, if you play Master Duel enough, you know what this card does. Swordsoul Supreme Sovereign Sheng Ying. Sheng Ying is really good. And it's really good when you get locked because you can't go in the Barone. What this card does is that it cannot be destroyed by card effect. Well, pretty much. If it wouldn't be destroyed by a card effect, you can banish 1 in the graveyard instead. A Swordsoul card. Actually, no, any card from your graveyard. So what makes this really good is that you get that instant protection, so it's like Colossus. And then for each banished card, this card gains 100 attack and defense, and this will stack quick. And also, this card will be destroyed by battle card effect. Like I said, you banish one instead. And if a card is banished, you can banish one card each from your opponent's field and graveyard, which is nuts. This thing's an inherent DBE counter, and then you could just ridicule your opponent's resources, which you'll see in the replay that I have. So really good. And we have a glossy one, which is super duper sweet. Okay, now we have 3 Monkey to Tenyi. Simple, like 1, it takes 1/9 Tenyi. But what's very important here is this is a normal monster, and then this allows you to use all the Tenyi effects that I talked about when you have a normal monster at the field, such as bouncing a card, special summoning one out of the deck, and adding a worm from the banished pile to your hand. Shaman is really good. It takes 2 worms. You discard 1 card, then target a worm monster in your graveyard, special summon it. This card is insane, but the only downside is it locks you into Tenyi effects for the rest of the turn. However, this is a great board extender, so you can revive Mo Yi and Synchro again, or Taya. But what's also really good, and you can even bring back Shishao as well, but what's really good is even though you won't get a Shishao effect to search, you can still make Shishao, or go into any of your monsters, if you're not worm locked, and just not activate the effect that turn, and make it very powerful. And if you don't activate Shishao on that turn, you can just use it on the next turn, which is really, really good, just to get a negate. Okay, that's the description. Let's get into a few replays, and I'll talk about the tournament as I go through the replays. Oh, did I not save them? I didn't. Okay, so we're going to go up here, and we're going to go to replay, and I did not set them as public, so let me do that really fast. Okay, this is the rank up. This is the really good one. Save these 3, and we'll go over 3 of these. But I definitely want to go over a few of these. Oh, this one was really good too. So we'll take a look at this one. Alright, so here we go. Let's go into the replays up here. And we'll look here. Okay, so this was the rank up to Diamond 1. Tomorrow we're streaming Ritual Beast. So if you want to watch that in Master Duel, please follow me on Twitch. Okay. So here we go. Alright, we go with Shuna. Now he maxes, but we Ash. Now remember, we control no monsters, we can special summon them. Their second effects, you need an effect monster on a non-effect monster to trigger their second effects, but their first effect can special summon themselves if you have an open board. So we link off the Ashuna into our link 110 Monk. Now we're going to banish Ashuna to special summon out Adhara, because we have a non-effect monster. Now we're going to go into another Monk, trigger Adhara's effect to add back our Ashuna, and then we are going to go Long Yun Pitch, not a really great hand, summon the token, and then we're going to make our Sheng Yin because we're locked in the worms. And burn for 12. So it's his turn, he's playing pranks, so I'm going to speed through this. He goes prank his place, goes into Dropsies, summons the Dropsies, we're going to max C. He goes... Now, I don't Ash here because we inherently count the DBE with this, so we don't need to Ash. We're going to take the draw. Now, he makes a big misplay that costs him the duel here. He had Droplet in his hand. He waited, which was a bad mistake on his end. And then, we probably would have lost if that were the case. But, we definitely take those at that retrospect. Can't always expect a Droplet, but he had it there. Now, this one was the nutty one. This is against Eldritch. And you're going to see me completely outplay this guy. And you're going to see this deck really pop off. Okay? So get ready. Alright, so we have a ton of hand traps here. I think this one was against Eldritch. Oh, no, this is the FTK. Never mind. Alright, so this is the FTK. Just going to go through this. All you do here is if you have Ghost Ogre on Sublimation, just pop it and you win the duel. So this was just Ghost Ogre. Alright, fine. We still had, like I said, we had a ton of hand traps to interrupt and potentially draw into things. And Vishuddha to potentially stop our opponent on the other end. Alright, this one's probably the Eldritch one. Alright. Alright, so here we go Desires. So we're going to banish 10. Always make sure you look at to see what you banish so you don't screw yourself out of resources. We're going to go ahead and summon Monk. Activate Ashuna. Summon out the Vishuddha. We could trigger Adhara to add back. I meant to normal summon Adhara, but that's fine. I forgot we couldn't summon in that state, but that's fine. So normally Adhara in that state, don't use the Veiler, because we don't know what we're against. So we pitch, and then like I said, this is another way. By having a level 7 and a level 1 tuner, we can go into our synchros very easily, because Shishao just requires the non-tuner to be a worm. And also, don't be afraid, if you have to use your hand trap tuners as synchro fodder. So now we can go into Shang-Ying, even though we're worm locked. We set the blackout and end. Okay, so here comes the Eldritch. Alright, sets 4, goes Sky Prism. We're going to respawn and we're going to black out. Now, because that happened, in a new chain, we can activate Shang-Ying and banish 3 of his back rows. So we get rid of Strikes, Skill Drain, and Dogmatic Punishment. Really good. Now, he's got Goza Match. Oh no, now we can't play the game. That's okay. We send off our light synchro. So we're going to send off Shishao here. Because Shishao's a light, and because, remember what I said about Blackout, being able to get the token, we special the Blackout, we banish the Blackout, because we had it in the graveyard, and then we get the token. Very good. And since the token's water, we get past Goza Match. But then, since we have the token, we can banish Vishuddha because we have a non-effect monster on the field. Tokens are non-effects, they're normal monsters. And then bounce back Goza Match, so we get past it. Very good. Now we summon the Ecclesia. Ecclesia goes into Taya. Taya banishes Shishao. Now we can bounce 2, go into Boxia. Right? Remember what I said? We have 2 different attributes? We're bouncing. Now we're going to dump Mo Yi off the Taya, activate Ashuna, since we have a non-effect monster. Go ahead and pop, because otherwise we can't link. Link off the Adhara, go into Monk, activated Adhara, add back the Long Yun. Then we link these 2 off into Shaman. Activate Shaman, pitch the Ash to summon the Mo Yi, revealing the Long Yun to special summon. And then that's game. We would just go into Shishao, and that would be that. So, you could see how we completely outplayed him. He had 4 disruptions going second, but we were able to get rid of all of his back row. So my best advice to you against Eldritch is, if you know you're going against them, going first, you want to end on Shang-Ying plus Blackout. Because if you're able to end on that, and you're going first against the Eldritch, it's very rough for them at that point. Because they're not going to be able to get past that, because you're going to have multiple pops on their back row. And then you have Shang-Ying to pretty much counter Eldritch Lord himself. Well, if they activate Eldritch in hand, you're not going to be able to get rid of it. Because it sends. It won't protect, because it sends and not destroys. But, yeah. That's pretty much that in a bag of cherries. We played that really, really well. And like I said, we showed off the true power of Shang-Ying and Blackout, because we were just able to ridicule his resources down. Now, I think this one was against Virtual World. I could be wrong. This one may not be the one. Alright, so we go Emergence, get the Mo Yi. Mo Yi summon, reveal the Long Yun, special summon. Oh, he's got Maxi. Nope. Negate. We are going into Shishao. Shishao will trigger the Mo Yi. We will draw. We draw into an Ash. Very nice. And we're just going to set 2, because I don't want to commit too much to the follow-up. Okay, so he goes Foolish. Oh, this is the Burning Abyss. Okay, this was funny. So we play around. So basically all he does, I don't know why he doesn't mill here. He should be milling, but he doesn't. With Dante. Goes into Downard, and then goes into Zeus. And we get double negate here. So he goes to Detach. We say no. Detaches again. And we just let that go, because it results in the same thing anyway. And this ends very quickly. Sets of back row passes. We get the Shisha back. Now we get to pitch the Taya. Summon out the Long Yun. Go into the Ballon de Fleur. Activate Barome. Pop. He negates. That's fine. Summon out the Ecclesia. Summon out the Taya. And yeah, that's game because we just make Boxy and bounce. So, game over. Alright, I'm trying to find the virtual one here. I think this is it. This is the last one I want to show you guys. And then we are finito. Alright. Alrighty. Alright. So this one should be the virtual one. Okay. So, here we go. Yep, this is it. Alright. So goes Kowloon, activates the Chuche, revealing the Lulu to target the Chuche to search, dumping the Qinglong. Revealing, activate Lily, target the Chuche, dump the Nian, dumping another Qinglong. Qinglong will go ahead and pick up another copy of Lulu, while discarding a copy of Maxi. And he synchros into Shen. We will draw 2 off the Maxi this turn. Now we draw into Desires. Now we go Desires ourselves. We're going to draw 2. And now we draw Excellent. We're going to go Long Yun. He's going to Maxi. We're going to say, oh, no. Now, a lot of people may ask, why wouldn't you call by? Because he has a disruption. Now, at this point, we could have, because I didn't realize his Chuche was live. Then I would have called by the grave there. But I wanted to keep call by for his Shen, because I thought he had a live Chuche, but it's fine. We did that. It still worked out anyway, but if I didn't know that, I would have definitely called by the Shen. We're going to go into Shenging, and Shenging's a hard counter. Because if he Chuche pops this, then we get to banish his field, which is really nasty. And a card in his graveyard. And it's very hard for Virtual World to play around not being able to banish. So this is a good card to go against Virtual World, just in case you want to know. Alright, so we Sacred Summon, we're still getting banished. But we get the Shisha to search the Blackout. We're going to set, and yeah, he's not going to pass that. So GG. And that's how you handle Virtual World. Okay, that's the video. Now, about my tournament. I am hosting a Duel Links Rarity tournament. That's this Sunday. Okay? And that's going to be at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Alright? Me and I believe my brother Chop200 will be casting it. If you want to join, the link will be in the description below. You have to follow me on Twitch to get in. So please follow me on Twitch. The link will be in the description below. If you want to hear more about it, check out my live streams. I will discuss it then. Till next time, Sean Matrai signing out. Peace. Thank you.